Okay. Roll tape, please. We have speed.
Okay. Hey, Bridget, before we talk about the movie, a couple of questions. I've always been fascinated when actors fly on airplanes, if their movies are ever on the flight. Have you ever been on an airplane where one of your movies was the in-flight film?
Yes, I have. Yes, I was a couple of times. It could happen to you. I remember one time I was not paying attention and then I looked up and it was midway through the film. I was reading something, looked up and I thought, oh my God. And suddenly I'm looking around and thinking, does anybody know? Is anybody watching me? Like watching me and then watching the film? But yeah, it's sort of, it's embarrassing.
Do you feel the need to take a bow after the movie's over in that
Not
situation?
at all. I feel the need to lock myself in the john. I feel the need to creep away. And then, of course, there's really no place you can creep on an airplane. So, you know, I usually just turn my face away and sleep.
Well, a question about another period in your life, the Westlake School for Girls. Now, what did that teach you, that time, teach you about people and dealing with people in that environment?
I can't get into this. Well, it was, you know, it was, I got a good education.
Well, during that time, were you disappointed the way people reacted to you, or did that just teach you some hard lessons about people during that time?
Well, I don't know that I blame Westlake. I think it's hard when it's all girls because then you don't have any of the distraction of boys. You can sort of then, you know, it can get kind of cliquey and strange. But no, it wasn't that bad. It's always been, in terms of being the child of someone famous, it's always been strange. It's always been different, and you didn't really know how because you only have your own example. You got your life, and that's all you know, and you don't think of it as being odd. But then other people look at you different and think different things of you and just make assumptions about you. And so I think that I naturally always felt like I had to overcome what somebody had an idea about me who had never met me before, which is strange, but it was the only thing that I knew, so it's hard to kind of gauge exactly how, you know, how that is outside of your own experience.
Okay. Well, turn to fun stuff. About the movie. Just curious, acting on a boat, how difficult to do?
Well, I'm good on a boat. I'm really good on a boat. When I was growing up, my dad had a boat, so I'm very good in terms of I don't get seasick and I can keep my balance and, you know, I don't flop around too much. I don't lose my footing too much. In the water is different. When you got a camera resting on a boat or on the water, water is so, you can't control it. I'm sorry. Anybody who thinks that they can, it's like fire. It's just impossible. So that was basically, on the boat was fine. In the water was on many levels a nightmare.
Now, I've swum in some Canadian lakes, not exactly the warmest water.
Freezing.
Now, how much sympathy were you getting from the crew?
I think I got some at first, and then after a while they throw her back in. No, it just became a source of fun. I think that there were some of those late nights of having to go in the water where people felt kind of bad for me. I became pathetic. But I like to think that I kind of held my head up high and didn't complain over much. No, actually, you know, I asked the director, I said, was I really rotten? He said, no, you know, you were pretty good, and it made me feel worse. I said, good.
Now, the animatronic crocodiles, how amusing for you to watch the guys and women who operated those pieces of machinery?
I don't remember ever seeing the people operate the machinery. Yeah. The machine itself is so awesome that when it's coming at you, there was one moment where they had the head on a forklift, and they were chasing us with this forklift with a crocodile head that was, and it was weird. It was strange. It was some weird hybrid where you're looking at it. It's just like crocodile spawn of the airport. It was really, so those moments were sort of funny, but for the most part, it was pretty awesome, I have to say.
And a quick last question. Betty White, I grew up watching Mary Tyler Moore. How big a thrill for you to work with her?
Well, not only was it a thrill to work with Betty White, but then working with Betty White playing this character That was the one where we were off camera, all of us trying so hard not to laugh because she was a riot. And she's wonderful to work with too. She's unbelievably professional. She sort of, I was ashamed of myself. I thought, oh my God, she's so good. I got to get on the ball. But it was really, I mean, I grew up with her too. So to see her, she's wonderful.